Jesus was the first man. So look what we got. We got Adam, we got Job, and we got Jesus. There are 3 perfect men. Now, all those men in the Bible, all the rest of them, something happened. But here's Job. He did not give up. He stayed there. He had hope. He had faith. And as we look at that first 2 readers, what does it tell us?
Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee.
Now look here. Job, and went all the way right here. God did not answer Job. But then, in chapter 42, that's when God answered Job. But the thing about this answer, this is not what Job expected. This is not what Job expected. Job was expecting God to answer him. But God did not answer him in a way that he wanted to answer him. He said that, I know God, I know that you have all power. It took Job to realize that God had all power. Since you have all power, God, will you answer me? But what God do? He didn't answer Job the way he did. He came to Job, he answered Job. This is how he answered Job. When you read from 38 to 42, you know what it is? He answered Job with 75 questions. Look at that. He didn't answer. He gave Job 75 questions when you read Job. Okay, those are the things that he told Job. He didn't give Job a direct answer. He questioned Job about what he done. So what he did, and Job waited for him to talk to him, he did. But he talked to him questions. And read him, what did that 3rd verse tell us?
Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful for me, which I knew not.
Now here, Job repeat what God said in 38 and 2. He accused him. Yeah. And God said, so you accusing me. Job said, you accusing me. God, accusing me of doing something. Job, now, this is what Job saying there. So I didn't know Job. I didn't know. This is Job. I didn't know what happened. So God asked him, Job, this is good about life. Since I'm questioning you, here's the first thing, Job. I want to know who made you, Job. That's one of the things. And what could Job say? Nothing. Job, I want to know who hung the moon, Job. What could Job say? Nothing. Job, I want to know who rained. Who doesn't make the rain, Job? What could Job say? Nothing. Job, I want to know when somebody's sick, can heal. What could Job say? Nothing. Who's talking right now? God. But what he said to Job? He asked Job all these good questions. And what can Job say? Nothing. So what Job realized is that everything that God said to me, he's asking me a question. Can I say I've done anything? Job, can you do anything, Job, that I did? Job had to say, I can't do it. I can do nothing. So now Job realized that God did. Who made Job to be sick? God. Who allowed Job to be sick? God. Who allowed Satan to come in? God. So now Job realized that I can't do it. No, I can do this, but you can't, God. So since God can do all this here, Job repeats some of the same thing that God asked him. Then as he began to repeat that thing now, that verse 4 tells us, read, what does it tell us there?
Here I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me.
God telling Job, listen, I'm going to speak now. You listen to what I have to say. Isn't that something? God telling Job, you listen. You spoke, now I'm about to speak, and you better listen to what I have to say. And Job, let's go back to all those questions that he asked Job, and Job had no answer to them. Only thing Job say that, yes, Lord, I know. That's right. I can do nothing you done. Nothing you done. Job realized that. Job studied God. Job realized when Moses got there, who did that? Nobody but God. Job realized all that good stuff because all this come from Job. Job was a man of God. Job was a man that believed and trust God. Now God is coming back on Job, and Job can do nothing but say, yes, Lord, I met you. You're right, God. I can do nothing. I can do none of this thing that you did. That's all those 75 questions that he asked Job. And Job asked what I can do. Because Job realized he is just a what? He is just a servant, and he was just a human. He was not God. But Job can understand why God would let that happen to me. I am a righteous person, so why would you let this happen to me? So what I'm saying is that God take us through trials and tribulation. Why do he take you through trials and tribulation? To get your attention, See, do you really believe what he said? Now, supposing that Job had listened to his wife, what do you think would happen? He'd have been messed up. Now, I didn't want to get on that, but I'm going to have to say it. He'd have been messed up. So what got me is that when I went back to Job, I thought about somebody else. I thought about Adam. What happened to Adam?
He got messed up.
Talk to him. When he listened to his what? Wife. He listened to his wife. I'm going to put one more out there. What happened to Abraham? Who did he listen to? Listen to his wife. Now, women, I'm not saying anything, y'all. I know we all, I'm talking about men, and we love y'all. But look what y'all did to us. You know, everything was going good until who came into the picture? Who came into the picture? A woman came into the picture. But look, somebody said something, talk to me. I hear it. Wow. Talk to me. We did to ourselves.
Amen.
You know, we did to ourselves, but we had a little encouragement. Because, you know, it's something about you all. We get our attention. Remember what David did? He was doing good till he saw what? And how was that one? So, you know, that's not it. Now, y'all know that, right? But let's get back on road. Got to the woman. The devil got to the woman. The woman got to the man. Eat this in. But then I have to go back to what Abraham. Abraham was doing good. But who came to Abraham? God came to him. And what he told him? That you're going to have a child. What happened? Abraham didn't hear nothing from God for 10 years. But who encouraged Abraham? Sarah. And what was Sarah? A woman. His wife. She did that. And then I thought, since you said, let me get one more. Look at him. What happened here? When you think about this old good person right here, he did the same thing. His wife came to him. And I said, okay, baby. Now, who was that other person's wife came to him to do the same thing? What's that person's name? Wife came in and he did the same thing. He followed what his wife said. You know, when you follow some of them good women, what they said, they did. Look at old King. Wonder what king it was? King Ahab. Who came to King Ahab? That woman, what they call her name? Jezebel. Jezebel, he was bad. But Jezebel made it worse. Because she came to him and told him what happened there. And she wanted him to start the prophet. Who was that? Jezebel. Who was Jezebel? A woman. And what she do? She got in his head. And what happened? He did just what she said. So you know how you women would do us? We get in our head. And when you get in our head, we forget about God. But he said, look at Samson. Look at Samson. Samson was doing good. But what happened? Who got into his head? The woman. The lion got in his head. Samson. Tell me, Samson. Tell me what? Tell me your strength. How many times? About 3 times he got into his head. And no more. He couldn't take no more. She started crying. Women don't cry to us. When you cry, we just have to go. I see Miss Tyler here. Come on, Miss Tyler.
You talking about women, but God had told him what to do. He didn't have to do it because he was talking to him.
I like that, Miss Tyler. But God told him that. But look at here. What's so good about that, Miss Tyler? A man got to stand up and do what God said. He broke down. But here's one man right here. This is what I like about it. You women, y'all can get to Job. Job was a man of what? God. Job believed in what? God. And who came to Job and told him to curse him till he died? Who? That's the first somebody came to Job. His wife. His wife came to him. Job probably gonna make it, but who came? That wife said it. So what's that wife? She's a woman. So God allowed that to come there. And what did he do? He was testing Job. So Job was the only one. All the ones we just named, their wife got to him. But Job, woman, you talk like a foolish woman. What are you saying? He said this woman talk like the most Gentile women. That's how they do. You talk like a foolish woman. But no, I'm gonna stand second. You cannot do this, Job. Okay. I like that women. Not picking on y'all. Y'all good this morning. All right. Read it. Let's get the next one.
Hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me.
All right, God is telling Job, listen, this is what I demand of you. And what do I demand of you? Those questions that he asked him. And he couldn't even answer those questions because Job could not do this. Only God can do this. And then when you get to that next one, baby, what did that next one tell us?
I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye seeth thee.
Here we go. I heard, Job. I heard of what happened back there. I heard how Moses did. I heard how all those folks before me did. But now, not only am I hearing, what am I doing? I'm seeing and I what? I feel. So what is it? You can tell me about God. You can tell me what God did for you. But until I experience it, what God did for me, then that's a whole different thing. You can tell me how God gave you bread when you stopped. Good. But if I had never stopped, I don't know what you're talking about. You can tell me how high your blood pressure, and God brought it down. But if I never had blood pressure, I don't know what you're talking about. No, you can tell me about diabetes. But if I never had it, I don't know anything about it. But right here, what Job said, now, what is that? Now, Lord, I know exactly what you're talking about. How did Job know? Job stayed sick. But what is that? So long to the place where what? Right off his bone. So then Job know what? He know what God's talking about. So now I know what you're talking about. I know what it is to be stopped. I know what it is to be thirsty no water. See, Job didn't know that. But now Job knows all this good. That's why he said, now Lord, I know what you're talking about. So that's some of us can be the same thing. People can tell you how good God is. But until you experience how good God is, you don't know. All I'm going about was somebody tell me. So let me go through this here. What they're telling me? I need to suffer. I need to go through a little pain. I need to go through some bad pain to know what God can remove all pain. You know, I need to say that I know what it is to have without a mother. How do you know that? My mother's gone. I know what it is to be without a dad. How do you know that? Because my dad is gone. But then, since my dad and mama gone, who is there? God. So I know what it is like that. When you tell somebody, I know how you feel. No, you don't. If you haven't experienced it, you don't know how you feel. Job is saying, now I know God. I know exactly how it is to be sick. Because I say sick and all this pressure come off my bone. So Job knew that. And then, Rita, what's the last sentence?
Wherefore I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes.
Here's Job saying, I abhor myself. What is it? I hate myself. Why do you hate yourself, Job? Because I hate myself because I realize that I am nothing but dust. I am nothing but ashes. But Job thought, forget it. Oh, I'm human. You know, I'm human. I can take this in. But now Job realized that I'm nothing but dust and ashes. And what Job said here, by me being dust and ashes, I don't mind standing before God with my ashy self. I don't mind standing before God because I'm dusty. Because what? I know what God has just done for me. He brought me through all that stuff and I went through. So I don't mind. First Job was mad. What did he say? He cursed the day what? That he was born. He didn't curse God. But he cursed the day that he was born because of his affliction. So here we go right now. Job is not on the left. Job said, I know what it is, God. I know I'm nothing but dust and ashes. But I still stand before God. And then there's a question that comes over there. And that question, anybody else? Women's got to go on this morning. So here we go. It says, what do you think? How difficult do you think it was for Job to admit that God was right and that Job was wrong? Isn't that something? How do you think Job felt about admitting that God was right? He said Job felt bad about that. Why should Job feel bad about that? Because he had questioned God and he wanted to know, why did God do this to me? So now when God began to talk with him, he realized that I was wrong. And God, you was right. I heard people say, you was wrong. That's what Job realized. God, you was right all the time. I was wrong all the time. But what Job realized that what? He didn't do anything, but he still was wrong because he had got angry at God. Because what God had done to him, this is a man that did everything right. The perfect and upright man. But yet, he had questioned God. And this is what he said right there. Lord, I was wrong doing that. I know that you have what? All power. You have the power to do whatever you want to do, God. You have the power to make me sick. And you have the power to make me well. Job realized this or not. And as he realized that there, that was the question about. The to Job. How do you think Job felt? And Deacon said, now, question on that part. That's when Job made his confession. So now, since he made his confession, look at Job now with his restored prosperity. Now look at him. Job, he took all from him. Now he's about to restore it to what? Bring it back to him. He's going to bring it all back to Job. Then now look at this thing right here. That's 42 and 7 told Job about what he's going to do. He's going to give it all back to him. But now, if you notice, Job, 3 friends and came to him and told Job how bad it was. So that's over there. Those friends came to Job from chapter 2 to chapter 26. They came to Job. 2 to 26 to tell Job. But here come another one of Job's friends. Eli came to Job. And he said, tell Job about this. Now this person here came to Job. Eli, he came to Job. This is my Eli right here. He came to Job. Look at it. Don't he? This is like he came to Job. Now, not only did he come to Job, I see Cheryl, right? That's okay. Not only did he come to Job, but he came to Job and said, Job, you was wrong. He was taking up God. Look at one. He said, you was wrong, Job. All right, thank you. He came to Job and said, you was wrong, Job. He took up God. But what he did, he was wrong. Because again, Job did no wrong. But everybody come to Job with pointing their finger. My 3 friends that came to Job, when they came to Job, they pointed their finger. I like that now. But my 3 friends that came to Job, here's my 3 friends coming to me. Look at Job, 3 friends. I like to see them. When they came to Job. Now, when they see 2 of them, okay. Now, when these 3 friends came to Job, he spoke to Eli right here. He said, Job, you said you was right. They said that you was wrong. This is why I'm speaking right here. But what God said, I want you to tell them, tell your friend, this is what I want to tell you. Okay, friends, y'all may see. He said, tell them. This is what he want to tell you. Read that.
And the Lord turned the captivity of Job, when he prayed for his friends. Also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before.
When they came to Job, and Job told them that, what did he do? God told him, this is what you got to do. What you got to do? You got to tell Job. Tell Job to pray for you. Now, in order to do that, this is what you have to do. You got to get 7 rams. Look at that now. How many? 7. I want you to get 7 rams. And when you get those rams, I want you to give them to Job. When you do that, this is what Job gonna do. Job gonna pray for you. So what Job gonna do? He's gonna pray for him, then he's gonna turn his wrath around. Because my 3 friends came to me. I'm down on my deathbed, telling me that what? I have sinned. I'm telling you, Job. Telling Job that he has sinned. What sin has Job committed? None. And that wasn't good enough. So here comes Job's other friend right here, telling them the same thing. Job, I know you sinned. This other friend, now 3 of them had beat it on Job from chapter 2 to chapter 26. Had beat the same thing on Job. Every time one would light up, here comes another. Now, think about it. If you're on your deathbed and all you hear is somebody keep accusing you, pounding on you, the same lie, over and over. After one get through, the second got through. After he got through, the third got on. They all got on Job because back in the day, they said that's what happened. But they didn't realize Job said, I didn't do nothing. What did Job do? He stayed with God. Job did not give up. We said the other men, Abraham, Adam, all of them. But Job, he stayed with God. He did not give up. And then what happened? He said, if you do this, Job, so Job had something to do too. They had something to do. And Job had something to do. What that tell me? God wants us to not just do nothing. God wants us to do a little what? God wants us to do some work. Work don't save you, but through that work, you are saved. So work don't save you. But he don't want you. He told Job, look here. Job, you got something to do. Now, what did Job have to do? Let's see. I believe this is what Job done. Read it.
Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house, and they bemoaned him and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him.
Look who came to Job. All his brothers and his sisters. All Job's brothers and sisters. Look who coming. Look at Job's brothers and sisters coming to him. Look at him. Come on, brothers and sisters. Look at him. All Job's brothers and sisters. Come to him. Look at him. All Job's brothers and sisters come to him. Not only did they come to Job, but what did they do? They sat down, they ate with Job, they laughed with Job, and they told Job how sorry they was about what had happened to him. Because what God had done to him. All of Job's brothers and sisters, look at him. Isn't that something? All of them came. Now what happened? All of them had left Job. All had left. But what happened? All of them came back to Job. They all sat down with Job. They all ate with Job. And they were sorry for what God had done to Job. Because now, what did they realize? Job had done no wrong. They realized Job had done nothing wrong. So now God brought him right back to Job. Isn't that my good friend Job? All right, look at my sister and brother. Go ahead, sister and brother. All right, I like it. All of they do. And you know, not only did they come, it said they brought a little something with them too. Put in the bucket for Job. So they got Job back started by what he was. All his sisters and brothers. And then, read them. We got at 12.
So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 sheep asses.
Wait, she don't like the way. Come on, that's all right. We all grown folks in the house. It said, he blessed Job more than the first time. What y'all said, that's a double for Job's trouble. Everything Job got, he got it back. He got it twice as much. What Job had to do, Job had to do nothing but just hold on. What he had to do, just hold on just a little while. I do something. Just hold on just a little while longer. Everything gonna be what? All right. Job did it. The rest of them couldn't. Oh, Abraham, he couldn't hold out. His wife told him. Adam couldn't do it. But look at old Job. He did it. I like Job. To some he didn't do it, but old Job did it. And here's a question. Question. Anybody got somebody that did it with his friend? Wow, here's a question. The question says, when have you experienced adversity that worked out for your good? Have you went through something that you thought you were about to give up, and all of a sudden it came out, turned around, and been good for you? We all go through some things like that. In our life, we go through adversity. But in the end, that adversity turns to something positive for you. You can't see it, but who see it all the time? God. So what God wants to do? He wants you sometimes to suffer to get to where he got for you. Then Job suffered to get there. Job got double for his trouble. So we got to realize we need to do the same thing. We're going to have these adversities in our life. We're going to have these trials and tribulations in our life. But when you have that, you still keep hope and have faith. Do you remember when they said about Obama when he ran hope? What they said, this man ran on hope. Obama know to run on hope because hope leads to what? Faith. And who did Obama have faith in? God, that he could make a difference. So there's nothing wrong with hope. We all have a hope. When I was a little boy, I hoped to get a bicycle. And what did? I had faith in my parents to get one. And showed up to get me a bicycle. Have you had some kind of hope in your life to come true? So we got to have hope. And not only do we have that hope, but we have faith in that hope. And then, now here's the good one. We about to end this thing on hope. It says, that last one, really? Replace prosperity. Look at that. Everything that Job had, he got it back. Twice as much. And then, reader, what? Tell us about it.
He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters.
Go ahead to 14.
And he called the name of the first Jemima, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Karen Hapich.
Look at Job 3 daughters. Look at Job 3 daughters. Wow. Look at Job 3 daughters. Look at him. Look at him. Come on. Look at Job 3 daughters. Wow. How many daughters did he have? He had 3 daughters. Not only did Job have 3 daughters, but what did he do? Look at him. Look at him. All right. I believe couple daughters want to tell us something about it?
Yeah, I want to see how
I
they
got
do.
one daughter. Come and talk to the daughter.
Because I was the second daughter born to Job after his suffering.
I believe I got another daughter to say that.
Yes.
What? Come on, daughter.
She practiced,
Help her out, sister.
no, she practiced instrument.
Finances.
She practiced well, she held the incense pan and practiced the heaven.
The heavens already so. And then here's my other daughter. Talk to me, daughter.
My name is Jemima. I'm the oldest of the three daughters.
Wow.
I spoke the language of the angels. First of all, let me tell you, my name means dove.
Oh, talk to me.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing.
My name means dove. I spoke the language of the angels. And Deacon Line, if you ask me to sing, I would be able to sing.
Wow.
Sing and play the harp.
Go ahead. Now here's my other daughter. She a little shy. But what I like about this daughter here, she spoke different language. And this daughter here, she took out the daddy. She plays the drum. This is my daughter. Now look and say about Joe's daughter. Just look at Joe's daughter. Ain't a man proud of his daughter when look at his daughter. What it says about Joe's daughter, I need to tell them about Joe's daughter. Read it. What it says 15 about my daughters.
And in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren.
Lord have mercy.
Job's daughter was so fine that Job did something. Look at here. Job did something that no man had done before. You know, when you read about men in the Bible, it's always about the men. They were the dumb. But what Job did, he did something different. Job gave something to each one of his daughters. Look at these fine daughters said by Job. That makes him pretty good. He gave it to his daughter. Now, what Job gave to his daughter was the inheritance. Now, this inheritance he gave to his sons too. But the inheritance he gave to his daughter was something that they would never vanish. You know, he gave his sons the land and all that. Sometimes they may do away with that. But what he gave them all the tablets. They can take it from. Look at Job and his daughter. I tell you. All right, and then
I like it, Deacon. I like it. That's all right.
and look at 16 now. Read them. What we got for 16?
After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations.
Now, Job, after all that, he went through his son. My understanding that Job was 80 years old. Now, Job lived another 140 years. 4 generations. Now, when you begin to look at generations, some say generations start when the baby born. No. Generations start between 25 and 30 years old. That's when the generation starts. So right here, Job lived through 4 generations. He lived to be 140 years old. After all he went through, look what God did to him. Did he bless him? He went through all that there, and God still blessed Job. 140 years of that. And read it. What's that last tell us?
So Job died being old and full of days.
He died an old man. But look at Job. After he went through all that stuff, he still died an old man, but look what Job had went through. God kept him there. God gave him double for his trouble. He got 4 generations. Now tell me God ain't good. If you don't believe it, go back and ask Job. Job can tell you that God is good.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
since God is so good, and Job know that God is good,
Yes, sir.
I want to end with this Black History thing today. And I believe you all can help me with this. Can you help me with this? Coming up now, I'm going to ask my wife. But you know, Job's wife wasn't mentioned but one time. Because some of them say Job might have had 2 wives, but they don't know that. But what we do know that Job's wife. But what we going to do, we're going to end this Black History program, and you all can give us a little help right now. All right, what we going to say?
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in our heart, I do believe we shall
talked about Job, and we still got to overcome. We have not got there yet. The only way we can get there is through God. So that's what the song that we said we're in, that we shall overcome. You know, when they eyes back there, they had that feeling. What was that? That was nothing but hope. What do we have right here? We have hope. And when we have hope, God, they lead us to have what? Faith. So we got hope and faith that this world someday will be better than the world. That's nothing but hope. Now, with all that said, I'm going to hope myself, and you know where I'm going. Thank you.